of our 10-day writing experience that we've been having this summer. And we spent 5 days together building our community of writers. We've been writing online, and we've had some good experiences writing in different locations, which we'll kind of be telling you about as we go. My name is Melissa Reed. I am the Associate Professor of Literacy Education here at ESU. And this summer I had Ms. Sydney Prickett, who is a secondary education English major who's been working with me this summer. Our project is funded by an ESU undergraduate research program. So we've had a grant, and that's why the kids could attend for free. And all their materials and supplies have been paid for through that grant. And they've had snacks throughout the experiences, and then the publications that they're taking home of their published writing today was also paid for through that grant. So we're thankful to have those kinds of funds to be able to do these kinds of things with the kids. So this is our final. We're going to be doing kind of a coffee house type reading experience, so it's pretty laid back and informal, and they're going to be sharing some of their favorite pieces of writing that they worked on this summer. So I'm going to turn it over to Sydney and let her take it away.
Sure. Okay, so everyone, like Dr. Reed said, they kind of picked some of their favorite pieces that they wrote throughout our 10 days of writing. The first week we met every day, as most of you parents probably know, and then each consecutive Monday. And throughout each Monday we kind of did different styles of writing. We wrote like a reporter, wrote like a historian, just different things like that. So a lot of the writings today will reflect what kind of writing we were talking about on that certain Monday. So, and we also paired up with the Flint Hills Writing Project, so with both Dr. Caswell's, and so they got to write with another teacher, and so some of them are actually going to be reading those stories. So I guess we'll just get started with our first reader. So that's going to be Keegan, and he will be reading a poem called Serenity. You can just stand up and
Okay, so basically I played around with haikus a lot because I found it interesting how many different emotions you can fit into just 17 syllables. So this one's called Serenity. My mind is clearing. I am carefree in this state. I have found myself. And it's just like, I played around with a lot of different emotions and how you can fit them into such small poems, I suppose.
Poetry snaps. Okay, very nice. And also the haiku, the reason why it's so short, it's composed of 5, 7, and 5. So 3 lines of syllables, and so that's why it's a short poem, but you can fit a lot in there. So nice job, Keegan. Next will be Zoe, and she will be reading a frame story. With Zoe's story, you might show them the picture you took. We took them out around campus into different parks, and we actually had them hold up an old frame with nothing in it, and they had to frame a picture. So they held it up to like a tree or a bridge or something like that, and then they had to turn that picture into a story. So what Zoe did is she took a picture of, I think it was like an old outdoor fireplace, and she wrote a story about that. So this is Zoe with her story of the throne.
There's the picture. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there it is. Fair warning, I'm not good at reading out loud, so. The back entrance up to the throne is where a castle used to lay long ago. The king and queen of Bohemian loved life. They loved to throw parties. They invited everyone in the kingdom and even people from other kingdoms not so far away. Every time they threw a party, everyone would wait for the king and queen to sit on their throne and say, "Let the party begin." And then the party would start. However, there was one kingdom to the west of them that they would never invite because the West Kingdom, king and queen, was their arch enemy. As the party went on, the king and queen of Hammondland had no idea that the kingdom to the west was plotting a war. The West Kingdom was plotting a war against Hammondland because they were never invited to any of the parties. The queens of the two kingdoms were twins. sisters. And the Queen of Hammondland never invited her sister because the sisters never got along as children. They always got in fights. The sister who lived to the west of the kingdom stole the Queen of Hammondland's boyfriend. Since that day, they stopped talking to each other and never tried to fix things between each other. While the party was going on in Hammerland, the West plan to begin war was put in action. The party in Hammerland was loud. With music, people eating and laughing, also not knowing what was about to go down. Outside the castle, one of the guards thought they heard a stampede of horses, but he could not see anything. Suddenly, right from behind, a guard from the west hit the guard from Hammondland in the head with a brick. Then the Queen of the West entered her sister's castle. The Queen of the West said to her sister, "Oh dear, am I interrupting something?" Her sister shot a glare at her and said, "What are you doing?" The Queen of the West said, "Well, there's something you might want to know." The Queen said, stopped her right in the middle of her sentence and said, "Get out of here." And her sister said, "Fine, I will." Her sister walked out of the castle. As soon as the Queen of the West left the room, the party began again. Outside the castle, the Queen of the West ordered her knights to charge into the castle and kill everyone. The knights charged in and killed all the guests in the Knights of Hammondland. Once they killed everyone except for the Queen of Hammondland, the Queen of the West went to take care of her sister. The Queen of the West walked up to her sister and held up a knife, but before she could do anything, her sister said, "Why are you doing this?" The Queen of the West dropped the knife to the ground, walked away. As soon as the Queen of the West left the room, the walls of the castle fell down around her sister. The only part of the castle that was left was the back of the throne.
Okay, next up we have Mantha, and she will be reading Sharpay the Bread Roll, and kind of just to go over what she's writing off of. I had them do a dialogue generator through a raft, which is role, audience, format, and topic. And so through that, Mantha created her own little letter to food, all the food in the kitchen, from the viewpoint of Sharpay the Bread Roll. So go ahead, Mantha.
Dear fellow foods, my name is Sharpay. I am a bread roll all the way from the green fields of Nebraska. This letter has two major announcements enclosed, something that will take a while for you peasants to understand, but you are bound to hear it sooner or later, so let's start. I am the best food in the world. Seriously, I am. Who doesn't like bread rolls? I'm versatile, warm and crispy, if you put some effort in, soft and naturally beautiful. I know that all of you spend days and nights praying to be me, but unfortunately, you're not even close. That's right, banana, I'm talking to you. So in conclusion to the first announcement, I am the best food ever. No other food can be like me. Now for the next announcement. As all you know, Henry Butter is new here to the kitchen. He's currently residing in the fridge, which is quite unfortunate, but there's something Henry needs to know. I'm in love with you, Henry. You're the perfect food for me. We go together we go together. You're the hottest stick of butter in the world. So of course, we're going to get together and be with each other forever. It's our destiny. We can get married, have little rolls and wedges, and be the happiest couple in the kitchen. I know you want to. We need to meet at the counter to discuss the details and as well. But before Sharpay could finish her letter, she was taken from the pantry and placed on the counter. There she sat next to the love of her life, Henry Butter. Before she could greet him, a large hand appeared and a knife in between its fingers. It sliced Sharpay open, exposing her white and soft flesh. Henry stood there, halfway unwrapped, in shock of what just took place. Next thing you know, the knife swoops to him, cutting his face off, smoothing all his once beautiful features on the insides of Sharpay. The hand placed the knife on the counter and shoved the lovers into their mouths, enjoying their snack.
Okay, next we have Elizabeth, and she'll be reading a haiku titled Water.
Crystal water swirls, waves lap onto golden sand, only to dry up.
Okay, and then next we have Zoe and Mantha together. And this was when we were writing like a musician. And so they had to come up with a song or a rap together, and that's what they chose to do. So this is called the pizza rap.
This is a really cheesy rap.
Cheesy.
See?
Way to go. Okay, do you want to say it or do you want to? Dancing around the room, feeling a little hungry. Chips aren't enough, they don't satisfy me. My peeps and I are hungry for something yummy. Hop in the car to get my honey. Once I got my babe, we meet at the hut. We shout our orders, can't keep our mouths shut. We smell the cheesy goodness, I'm dying for my order. And acting like pizza orders. But all we want is a pizza party. Yeah. Because all we want is a pizza party. Yeah. Embrace that cheesy goodness.
Perfect. All right. Next we have Cooper, and he will be reading a haiku titled Tiger Sharks.
Am I supposed to start? Yeah. Am I supposed to start? Yes.
Tiger sharks. A killer devil. Sand tiger shark display. Devil riding ball. It was horrible. Hooray.
All right. And then we have Gavin. He's going to be reading the snake story, and he did the same thing as Zoe, where they held the frame up and had to take a picture out in nature or something and come up with a story. So you might show them what picture you have on there. It's like some rocks and like crumbled cement and cracks. So the title of his is The Snake Story.
When I woke up this morning, it seemed like a normal day. The sun was shining brightly, so I got dressed and headed to the park to play. Once I got to the park, I walked over to the bridge and I saw that there was a huge crack in the cement. At the end of the crack was a hole about the size of a quarter. I found a stick lying on the ground, so I stuck it in the hole. As I poked it in the hole, I heard a sound coming from the hole. So I quickly picked up the stick from the hole, and a giant black snake was there. Hanging from the end of my stick. All of a sudden, I threw a stick on the ground to try to step on the snake. I missed him. He jumped up, bit me right on the arm. I grabbed the snake, put it in a plastic bottle, and ran all the way back home. I ran inside. My dad took me to the hospital. It turned out the snake was poisonous. The doctor got all the poison out before it was too late. He sent me into home, and he sent me home. The snake was WP2. After I got back home, I made a big sign, careful of the crack. When I went to the bridge and hung it up, hopefully that anyone who reads this sign would read it so they wouldn't have to listen to what I did.
Okay, and then next we have Garrett. He'll be reading his story titled The Pencil Family. And this was actually a story that he collaboratively wrote with the Flint Hills Writing Project. So he was paired up with another teacher, with Dr. Caswell. Go ahead.
The Pencil family from Pensacola was a family that loved to play games and have fun. They were a family of four: Roger, Mom, Sam, and Joe. One day, the Pencils looked out their back window and saw the neighbors' kids playing in the yard. They used their nets to catch butterflies. Being very lucky, they had already caught 25. Sam and Joe thought it looked fun, so they joined the kids. The neighbors' kids soon recklessly hit their nets on the ground, and all three nets broke. because they could no longer play with their nets. They all looked around and saw the neighbor kid, Joanna. She was playing in her pool. So all 5 kids are in the pool, and there was Kitty rattle in the pool.
Wait.
And they asked her, why are you using a floaty in the wading pool? She said, because I want to. However, deep in her mind, she was thinking because she was afraid of the water. So Miss Joanna jumped out of the pool and said, I saw you guys catching butterflies. I have nets too. Just the mom yelled it was time to go on vacation. So the other kids went to catch butterflies. Jordan's Sam and Joe went home. Pencil took 14 days in the car to reach Florida. They like to stop at every little town along the way. Finally, they arrived at Florida. They took a happy picture of themselves jumping in the air. They had lots of fun and went home.
So did they just go there, spend the day, and then go back home? No.
And also with Garrett's story, when they were paired with another teacher, they were given 3 random pictures, and they had to create a story using the 3 random pictures. So that's how they came up with their storyline. Okay, so the next one we have, it's going to be Annelle, and she'll be reading a story titled Luna.
It was vacation day for Luna Morano. Luna and her family were at the beach ready to have fun. When she was moving toward the water, a man walked in front of her. Can you please move out of my way? Luna asked. Why would I do that? He said. I am Antonio, and I seem to be missing something. I think your number could help. While Antonio was hitting on Luna, he didn't know there was a crab moving towards him. The claw was going for his foot and snapped. Wah! The whole beach watched them dance in pain and cry. Luna thought instead of going to the water, she would stay on the sand watching the circles prance around.
Next up is going to be Kalia, and her story is actually from the Flint Hills Writing Project as well. So she had a couple of random pictures, and she was paired up with another teacher, and they co-wrote this story together.
My story is called The Kayaking Day.